Yesterday was a crazy day for precious metals, especially silver, which did better than most of us thought it would, at least for now. What does this mean for what silver will do from now on, though? I'm going to tell you because I need to know what's coming. Let's talk about it while we look around. We can now enjoy the sweetness of the silver price, and I get it. Let's party with each other. I like to keep things in perspective, though, because, friends, perspective is everything. And silver is still strong at its core. No matter what the price is, silver is more than just its value. And I want to keep talking about this subject in this film. Silver doesn't matter if it goes down to $12 an ounce or less, like it did in March 2020, or up to $50 an ounce, like it did in 2011 and 1980. That's why I've been talking about it all year. How did they figure out the price of silver? It doesn't matter. Well, it was judged by what was going on in the markets and how people felt about it. And a lot of crazy things happen in the markets. Because of this, there are times when we're happy when the price goes up and sad when it goes down. Now, there are some of you who are happy when the price goes down because it means you can buy. I applaud those of you. By the way, if you want to buy, I probably wouldn't suggest doing so right now because of the prices and what's been going on. I'll tell you why soon. Summit Metals does pay for this service, though, so I hope you'll think about having a look. They're nice people and their prices are great. But let's talk about the silver market and the fear people feel when they buy valuable metals. A lot of people buy when the price goes up because they think it will keep going up. We haven't seen that happen this time. Over and over again, people have said they will cash in their money once Silver Sprite costs $30 an ounce. A lot of people have done this, and for good reason. Yes, some have had to sell because of the rise in prices, which has made it hard for them to finish the month. That's why they need to sell some of their money. That's the point. I think money is one of the last things that people should do, though. When I say this, I mean that if you can afford it, I believe it is good to have some of this close at hand. That is, not in a bank, so if you need money quickly, you can use these linen and cotton bills instead. Anyhow, what's going to happen with silver moving forward? I think there will be a delay, and it will probably be a pretty big one. Will that really happen on Monday when the markets open? I'm not sure. But it has happened before, and it happened the very next day. There was a big drop. I don't want to ruin the fun for the valuable metals again. When prices move like this, especially when they push short situations, I'm happy for you. You could be right that there is pressure and control, but if you think that, they will fight back hard. An easier way to explain it is the AAM razor, which is based on the idea that the easiest answer is usually the right one. Thoughts can make the markets go up, but they can also make them go down. People make a lot of money when they sell their silver products. I don't just mean markets that are open on the weekends either. There might be some sales, but what will happen if people sell on the weekend? There will be a lot of silver items in these local currency shops, like these ingots and coins. There might even be rounds. There are many choices, so let's add a round. You get round, square, and flat pieces of silver. Also, when you do that, you'll get less for your money than you think you should. What does that mean? I mean that a lot of people sell their money quickly because they think they can make money, and shops that deal in local currency pay the price right now. That is, below the given price by a certain amount. It could be 75 cents less than the offer price. It could be $1 less than the offer price. They will also be ready to pay you even less if they see more money coming in. This is because they will have money saved up. It looks like that's what will happen. And people are going to be let down. Could you tell me how much the silver is worth? So if you think you're going to use this big move to the SISTA to buy in the fall after selling your money, I would be very careful about making that move. Also, keep in mind that a lot of other people will feel the same way. Also, I believe it would be smarter to keep your money. Why? Because, well, you'll be let down if you sell it and get only $2 or $3 less than what you offered. Who knows? It's not clear if you're going to a gaming den. Most of the time, things are even worse. So it's likely that the deal you get will be worse than it was before the big price hike on Friday. That's the first thing I want to warn you about. Second, the market always goes through changes. It just flows that way. Things are getting stronger, things are getting worse, and there could be a big loss. It's possible. I don't think it will happen either, but we should suppose that something bad will happen. But I think we should be ready for it to drop even more, wiping out all the gains and other things we saw on Friday. There is a very good chance that will happen, and we should think about it. As you can see, it's easy to get carried away with lying about how much money is worth. That's right, the natural market doesn't make sense. But sometimes common sense takes over the markets and things go back to how they were. We should keep an eye out for that and expect to see it sometime. Prices could stay the same or go up a little more, which is the other option. Don't forget that the year is almost over. Also, don't forget that I said silver could hit $35 by the end of the year. I think it will happen. I'm still sure about what will happen. After getting to $28 at the start of the year, I might be wrong. I thought about my guess at the peak to see if I might have been right. It's not about pride now. It's not about being right. As of 2020, I've been wrong more often than right when I said the price of silver would change at the end of the year. But there is one thing that is certain. Now is the best time to buy silver. It's right and it's great, and I'm happy for everyone that the price of silver has gone up. It makes me feel good because it proves what silver is and what it has done. But it's also used in other things. The price of silver can also stay low, I guess, because of all the things that can go against it. It can stay below where many of us think it will be. You can see that it's going against the people who want to raise the price of silver and the people who are short. And the reasons for those short situations instead of the long ones, remember that. What, though, will never change? There will always be silver in your battery. With this message that the price of silver might go down and then rise again, the silver you own will not change. You haven't lost anything. By the way, collecting silver has nothing to do with getting money. That shouldn't be the reason you want to collect metal. The places in silver can be used by people, without a doubt. Indeed, if they had kept them, they would have sold them just a few days ago, and they are very likely still selling them right now. Yes, of course, they can make money, but most of all in ETFs. That being said, they might be very let down if they try to sell real money. It depends on how busy the cash shop is where you are. But friends, it's all about how you look at it. Some people will tell me, well, you shouldn't say bad things about silver. In any case, this is not a bad thing about silver. It has to do with being honest about what's going on in the markets. As silver buyers, it is our job to be as honest as we can about the market and where the silver is. Yesterday was a strange action. That doesn't seem to happen very often. There are a lot of possible reasons for what took place. We could guess all day. Also, I do that most of the time. There's nothing wrong with that. The main goal is to keep wealth for the long term. Since silver goes up and down by a couple of dollars, I don't want anyone to be let down by it. At the end of the day, it's about having something that gives us worth that is separate from the system we live in. That, my friends, is the most important reason we should hold real silver. Also, having digital copies of it is fine. That does not always mean that you are subject to the price of silver, though. Sometimes it does, especially for things that are traded on the stock market. Silver in the real world is where it is. You should pay the prices, which, by the way, are pretty low right now since not many people are getting them. But you need to know about those falls in order to buy something. Also, keep in mind that the market could keep moving so quickly and heavily toward the SISTA. But I think that will happen at some point. It could happen as soon as Sunday night. By the way, make sure you watch this station every Sunday night at 6 a.m. Eastern Time because I do a market follow. I hope you will follow along as I watch how the prices of gold, silver, platinum, and platinum change in Asian markets. Who knows? What takes place then would be very interesting to see. Not a single person knows. There's probably some kind of consolidation phase, though, and that time of coming together can be very emotional. Get ready, since it might be. Things that rise must fall, but things that fall must also rise again. In other words, it's getting stronger. It's about changes in markets. It has to do with instability. In the end, their silver will never get cold. It has always been and will always be a stable source of long-term value. This is a plan for long-term loss. It's happening now. The rate of inflation is still too high, but silver will always be the same as it has been for a very long time. It doesn't matter what the price is. Keep celebrating and remember why you're doing it. I hope that this movie has been helpful, educational, and yes, inspiring for all of you. I also want to ask you to rate this movie, click the thumbs up button below, share it, leave a comment, and subscribe.